Alright, welcome back everybody. This is Mog on Mog's Cast, playing some more Kerbal Space Program with you folks today, and as you may notice, this is very similar looking to our Science Rover 1. That is because this is Science Rover 2. I've added a hitchhiker pod to the top here, which means we're going to get a little bit less Delta V overall. I've also done some changes to the overall the rover itself. I've put a bigger tank on here for RCS as well, like in addition to the original, and I've put a different roll cage in it and took away the landing legs from it, so the landing legs aren't present to flip it back over, but it has a different type of roll cage now. That's generally what I've done with this setup. So the plan today is we're going to be going out to Vall, one of the other moons surrounding Jewel. So we're going to go ahead and get launched up, but before we do, I'm going to show you the crew. We've got Bobwin Kerman, Fredbury Kerman, Harvey Kerman, and Captain Pax. Welcome back. We lost all the previous subscriber knots, so there's one of us back for Joseph Paxall, I want to say. I think it's just Pax, actually. So thanks for watching. Appreciate the loves, and welcome back to the crew. So we're going to go ahead and get underway and get launched up. And as always, I'm not going to do, well, not always, as recently, I'm not going to go ahead and do the whole launch session. I mean, you guys have seen that. If you guys end up wanting to see those, I'm just assuming here. I'm trying to cut them a little shorter because these videos have been going on longer now that we're getting into more complex missions. Because I'm sure, just like we had to do with getting out to Bop, we're going to need to refuel this before we get there, is what I'm thinking we'll probably end up needing to do. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys like seeing the launches and all that, let me know. I really haven't gotten much feedback on how you guys actually like these missions to go down. If there's some other way you'd like for them to proceed, just let me know, and I'll do my best to accommodate. But for now, I'm going to do my first drop tank just to show that we've gotten underway and nothing serious has happened, and we'll, yeah, we'll kick those off and then meet back up in orbit is going to be the plan here. I'm going to be probably sending out a refueler, another drone refueler, one of the newer updated ones that isn't going to run out of electricity before it gets to the refueling point. And probably have to refuel this thing as we get out to Jewel. So there we go. I'll meet you guys back up in orbit. Okay, so we are up in orbit, guys. We're about 109.4 by 112.5 kilometer orbit, with a bit of an inclination and 0.5 degree inclination here. But we are up in orbit. We just detached our other stage there. You can see it floating off in the distance, the last of our launch stage. As we completed our orbit with the nuclear engines here. We have about 3,000, not 1,000, about 3,000 Delta V meters per second left in this tank. Down here, I mean, effectively. But we do still have about 3/4 an orange tank of fuel worth up in the final stage. Now, we're probably going to need to pull what we did in the last one when we went to Bop with this design and transfer some of that fuel down into these tanks, I would imagine, and probably a little more than we did last time. So, by proxy, we're going to definitely need to fill back up this tank. We'll probably send out a little bigger, well, I might actually redesign the refueler to see if I can get enough fuel to fill this whole dang thing. So I'll see what I can do. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and set up, actually I'm going to check my phase angle real quick just to make sure that we're looking good here. 96.7, we need 96.58, so we're still a little bit ahead. So we can go ahead and fast forward a bit. I'm going to keep an eye on that, but I'm also going to zoom out here, target up Jewel, and we'll start getting an eye on where we actually want to be. So what did I say? 96.58. Yes, that's what I said. If I didn't say that, that's what I meant for phase angle. I think I might have said 96.68. Possibly. Whatever. I'm not worried about it. So, based on the rate at which this is dropping, I would think degree, probably pretty close. This next orbit, I would assume we need to launch or start our burn probably right about here, give or take. I'd imagine that'll be close enough. It might be one orbit, one more for optimal, you know, optimal planning. But we'll see how this one lines up, actually. Let's see here. So burning out. How's this gonna look? Ooh, look at that. So we have an encounter. Let me see if we can actually get that right there, so we slow down just a hair there. So we are slowing, we're getting an inclination as we slow down. So if I push this ahead just a little bit, we might actually come at a little slightly different angle, which should allow us to slow down closer, I would think. So let's try that, shall we? See if my thought process is correct here. So if we nudge this ahead, like maybe there, how does this look? Ah, there we go. We have an encounter with 1880.5 meters per second used in the tank, and we still are off by degrees, so we should be able to correct that as we get closer. So I'm going to call that good. So I'm going to get ready to do that burn. It's going to be about an 8-minute burn. You know what? Whatever. We're going to go. I'm just going to skip this, come back to you guys as we get closer to Jewel. I don't want to put you through the rigors and the boredom of the actual transfer burn, because holy crap, this is like the lengthiest. Okay, I take that back. This is not the lengthiest portion, but this is pretty bad. Anyway, I'll be back shortly. Okay, so here we are. We've made it into Jewel. We've got our encounter. I've actually done some corrections while coming in here, and I've dropped our periaps down to about 145, and I've also got a node set up to drop that a little further so that we can do our arrow break. Excuse me. Sorry, I've got a beer in front of me, so I hope I don't slur too many things and or make too many stupid mistakes. But yeah, so we've got the maneuver set up as we get closer, so it's a little easier to so it's a little less efficient, so I can make corrections that are more delicate without just, you know, shooting past them. But so we've got that set up. We'll be able to come in and do some arrow braking. We're going to do a heavy arrow brake at about 128. Well, that's not a heavy arrow brake. We're going to do it at about 127.5 kilometers up from the surface of Jewel. So we're going to be definitely dipping into the atmosphere. That should be enough, I do believe, to get us a capture. If it's not, I'll just have to use some of our fuel and complete the capture, and then we can just kind of do that skimming arrow brake to drop our our apoaps in a bit. We're going for a Vall encounter, which is going to be right here. Is our overall goal. That's our target. That's where we're going to be heading. And once we get down there, we're gonna do a little more Easter egg hunting. There's an Easter egg on Vall that I've never seen before. In fact, most of the stuff that we've seen, Easter egg wise, other than like maybe an arch on the moon or on the Mun, and or a monolith here and there, I've actually not seen many of the Majigglypuffs. You know what I'm trying to say. The Easter eggs. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, we're gonna be coming in, and yeah, we're gonna start skimming across this. So I think I'm just gonna, since this is a little bit of a lengthy process, I am gonna come back once we kind of get ourselves all captured and whatnot. Okay, so I did my burn. I got the periaps all set up. We're about around a 126.75-ish, I'll say. Keep it simple. Kilometers off the surface, and I'm going to be doing a slight correction here to get our inclination hopefully back down to a close to 0 inclination, so perfectly orbiting centralized around the planet. And because of that, it's pushing back out our periaps just a little bit, bringing it back up to about 128.4. So that's fine. We're still definitely in a good drop into the atmosphere, so that's all I'm really after. I don't know if this is actually going to complete itself and get captured, but you know, we'll deal with it as it comes at us. So getting close down here to our burn point, we need about 27 seconds worth of burn, so I'm going to go for about 14, T-minus 14, to do a 28-second burn, give or take, for about 112 meters per second delta V is what we were after. So doing that, you can watch it. I'm going to try to zoom back in here to get a little more centralized. Basically, I'm bringing back that down so we're not shooting off at an angle as we encounter the sphere of influence closely on Jewel's atmosphere here. So there is that. I'm going to make sure that we're sitting on that node just right. And you can watch that delta V drop. Now, you can see up here what we've got left in the tanks. You can see up here what we have overall, in case you are unfamiliar with how this stuff works. So there we go, we've got that complete. It looks like we were at a 0.2 inclination, so that's fine. That's not bad at all. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and sorry, I was trying to think about what we needed to do here, and I was like, no, the next step is just dropping in and hitting this. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna catch our atmosphere, do our arrow break, and we're going to be able to watch this drop a bit. So I'm going to crank that up. Let's take a look. That thing is already coming in, so we are definitely in the atmosphere. Yes, we are. And there it goes. You can see it kind of pulling us around here. So let's go ahead and sit on retrograde just so it stays a bit stable. And you can watch that get pulled in. It looks like we're about to get captured here, it looks like. So we probably didn't need to drop this low. I was thinking we might need to at this speed, but I don't think we're going to need to. There we are. We are captured. We can see us drop it in with our overall apoaps out there coming in nice and quick. How are we looking? We just exited. Okay. So we just exited. We definitely have a capture. That was actually just enough. So that's good. So what I'm going to do is once we get back out, I'm sure you saw in the hunt for the dead space kraken, the idea here is to just skim the surface. Since you are captured, you have no worry about getting flung back out into the atmosphere, or into the solar system, unless we get an encounter with another planet. So that's one of the things that I am a little bit hesitant about doing this too slowly. I do want to try to drop our apoaps down to somewhere out around the distance of Vall. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out here. I think I'm going to push this out back closer to maybe 130, well, I'm going to say 131 kilometers off the surface for altitude on our periaps, and we'll see how that kind of works. And yeah, I don't want to drag you guys too much through this, so yeah, we'll just handle this. Okay, so as you can see, we're just coming out of our first orbit there. We haven't really changed much, but problem is we've actually got an encounter here with Vall. Now, the reason this is a problem is because we're still going too fast, and I don't think I have enough fuel in these tanks to possibly make that capture as we get the encounter. So I guess we'll see. But I have it set up currently so that I'm going to do a little bit of a correction burn. It's going to toss us outwards a little bit here on the orbit. We're definitely going to be a little further out than we would like, but it's going to save us from getting flung way out into an orbit. So yeah, we're going to make this small correction for 6 meters a second delta V. We're going to do a flyby of Vall, and we're going to take a look at our velocities and just see kind of how we're sitting, because if I can make it work and actually get a capture on this pass, I'm gonna go for it. Like if we have enough delta V in our tanks, if this actually ends up working out, I'm gonna go for it and try to capture ourselves. But if I don't think we have enough, if we're going way too fast on our orbital velocity coming in, then I'm just gonna let it pass by, and we're gonna get flung back a little bit to Joule here, and we're just gonna make another rotation and try to bring ourselves down to a slower orbit. So you do definitely encounter these type of issues with heavily populated solar systems. Or well, I shouldn't say solar systems, I should say planetary systems, because solar system is the whole dang everywhere we can go system, basically, in this game. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we've got a tiny little burn to make up, and whatever, I'm not going to put you through this. You guys are going to see what happens. I'm going to turn back when we get back closer to Vall and actually see how this plays out. Okay, guys. So here we are. I just got into the encounter with Vall. We are going about 3,320 meters per second currently. I have 666 in the tanks. If I can transfer all the fuel from up here, we can refill this to about 3,000. We should be actually able to make a capture. And then we'll just need to refuel from Vall. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer all the fuel around, and then we'll make this burn. Okay, so last the fuel's being transferred. I'm passing the point that I should have started burning at because it's taken this long to actually get everything transferred. But we're going to go ahead and go for this anyway. So there we go. We should have a balanced craft. This shouldn't be a problem now, but we're going to go ahead and start this burn. It's going to take us a little while. So I'm going to toss on the acceleration. We're going to blow by this point, and we're probably going to finish pretty close to our end point, and we're going to be pretty much nil on fuel. I mean, we'll have a bit left, but it's not going to be enough. Excuse me, it's not going to be enough to actually. Excuse me again. I am sorry, guys. It's not going to be enough to make a landing and/or correct all of our orbit, because I do want to be on a polar orbit for what we're going for here. I know I haven't really said what we're after yet, but I'd kind of like it to be a surprise. So I'm going to come back once we start getting captured, and then I'm going to refuel this thing. I'm going to send out the drone refueler. I'm going to make that a quick little bit of this video, so we're not going to sit through all that. I'm not going to make you guys do that for me. And we'll come back as we get ready for our landing. I'll probably show you a little bit here and there, though. Alrighty, so we're about to get our capture here around Vall, and then we'll be able to start bringing out our refueler. So there we go. We are captured. We're in a stable orbit around Vall. I'm going to bring it in just a hair, so that we're not, hopefully not getting any encounters with anything else to pull ourselves away. So I'm going to bring this down to about 1,000,000 meters up. Oh no, that's going to speed back up. Okay, no, go away, node. You're ruining things. Okay, retrograde. Go find retrograde, and then we'll bring that in. And then yeah, we're gonna do that, and I'll bring out the refueler, and we'll get this all corrected. In fact, I might even take the opportunity, because orbital velocity right now is about 340, and we have enough. I can correct our orbit so that we're not going clockwise, and we're instead going counterclockwise like we're supposed to, I think. Because, yeah... Or is this tidally locked? Ah, it's tidally locked. It doesn't really make a difference. Okay, that's fine. Or if it's not tidally locked, it's very slow. Okay, so never mind. I'm just going to bring out the refueler, we'll get this going, and we'll come back as we get in for our landing. Okay, guys. So, this is what I'm actually going to be running out to the Joule system now for our refueler. This is what I'm calling the space train. It's a couple of orange tanks snapped together with some docking nodes that I brought up all separately, and then like a little RCS balancer on the end to give it some additional RCS thrust toward the back end. And it's got an engine cluster here with 6 Nervas and a small gray tank, half orange tank in here that's full. And then this is the front. This is the original drone refueler, if you'll recognize that. Doing the main pull here. It's got its engines up here too that we can activate if need be, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting experience. It's going to take about the same amount of Delta V to get out there, which we barely have enough in this tank right in the middle where all the engines are connected. So what'll happen is if we will run out of fuel here before getting to Joule. So we'll transfer in a little bit from the other tanks, and then we'll complete our burn. So anyway, I just want to show you guys that. Excuse me, by the way. Totally burped. I've got a beer in front of me, so you can blame that if you like. But I apologize all the same. But yeah, we're gonna run this out there and see what happens. I'm gonna be doing obviously an aero brake into Joule's atmosphere to save us on additional fuel that we'd need there. But yeah, wish me luck, guys. I'll come back to you as we get closer into our Joule. Well, I'm just gonna come back as we get ready to refuel the thing, because I'm not gonna put you guys through another launch or another whole procedure. Anyway, we'll see you shortly. Well, okay, guys. We've run into a little snag while I was mid-transfer over to Vall here. It's coming from Joule. We stopped at the station, dropped off some of the extra tanks. I was just bringing in the main drone refueler we had before, and then the engine cluster for the Nervas. Apparently, I was providing a bit too much thrust and snapped where our RCS tanks were attached previously, which means all I have right now is a tank that's partially used, and these 2 directional thrusters on either side. That's all we have left, guys. And because of that, I'm gonna kick out my electricity, my solar panels, just to make sure that we don't lose electricity flowing in, because I don't think we have anything else generating. So yeah, we kind of got ourselves a little screwed there. On the plus side, it happened while we had an encounter, but I had to like flip it around while we were stuck together because of the thrusting engines, and I kept having to like push back against our node because we were going a little crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix our current positioning by burning back toward this node and hopefully correcting things there. And then we're basically just gonna get out to Joule, put as much fuel into the lander as we can, and go from there, I guess. I'll come back once we get closer in. Alright, so we're coming in here to the rover. I've got my shields open, I've got its shields open as far as the docking port shields go. This is what we've got left on fuel and whatnot before we make this final docking maneuver, and once more, we don't have RCS to do this with, because both of my tanks decided to break off this thing, so, careful when you're thrusting around space trains. I probably should have had the main thrust coming from the front of the train. That probably would have been the better idea. Instead of pushing all that weight, I should have been pulling it. I think it would have been a bit more stable and less strain on some of the docking nodes. I think, anyway. That's just me spouting things off the top of my head. Who knows if they're accurate? I sure don't. But yeah, so we're going to try to get this all targeted and come back in here. You'll probably recognize this if you watched some of the hunt for the dead space Kraken. We had to do a similar stupid little maneuver because I'm an idiot when it comes to doing this stuff and preparing for it, apparently. So, wish me luck here, guys. I hope I can pull this off again. I would like to do this quickly so I don't have to bore you guys with all the annoyance of actually trying to do this. So I'm going to aim a little bit lower to actually try to center ourselves a little bit more, coming in at kind of a bit more level of an angle is what I'm going to be doing now. Get my docking ports about even is the idea here. So last time I came in docking to this thing with this ship, so hopefully this shouldn't be as difficult, because that was a pain. That was a serious pain. So coming in, we're pretty much heading straight for this thing. That wasn't exactly what I had intended. Okay, so we're getting close. I'm gonna slow us down, back us off a little bit apparently. Rotate a bit. And you know what? I'm actually gonna aim so that we come in a little bit more even on it, I think is going to be the best plan here. Come on, give me some thrust. There we go. Okay, heading down. Let's get a better view of this. So we're aiming for one of these two, whichever ends up being easier. Right now I'm going for this one on the right side. So we're going to come in. I'm going to call that good. Switch back to the other engines, our front-facing engines. Face toward our retrograde marker. If I can do this well, give it just a hair of thrust. That's going to back us off. So now we're gonna flip up and start leveling ourselves, because I think we can get this. If we're quick about it, I think we can get this. Do my front-facing engines again. Gosh, I hope I don't screw this one up. I really don't want to do that. That would not be ideal here, guys. Okay. Let's give it a little forward thrust. That's not going to cut it. I'm going to have to burn just a hair more in that direction. Let's see if that would be enough. Whew, so close. Okay. It's coming in here. Ay. We're coming in too high. Okay, so we need to slow ourselves. So there we go. Zeroed out. Let's switch back again. And it's so difficult having these like awkwardly faced docking ports. Gosh, that's just making things difficult. Overly difficult. Okay, thrusting forward. Oh, and that freaking thing's rotating. Is that seriously? That's no help. That's not helpful at all, guy. Okay, so we're very close. I'm gonna go ahead and bring us to a stop. Actually, no, I'm gonna go forward just a hair more. Okay. Now I'm on the precision controls, but honestly, with that node bouncing about so much, it's really hard to gauge where I'm actually doing this with such unrefined controls. Okay, so we're zeroed out. Let's hope that'll do the trick here. I'm gonna bring us up. We might actually be able to set into a position here if we're lucky. I'm not so sure that we are, but let's see what happens, shall we? Ooh, that's close. We might actually have this. I might break my my satellite dish on the front, but you know what? It's worth it. For fuel, I'd say that's worth it. Look at that. So we got it positioned. Let's turn off my SAS and give my ship full rein to bounce around and get all set. Whew. Okay, so there we go, guys. Docked. And I'm gonna go ahead and refuel us, and then I'll come back when we're ready to take off. Okay, guys, so we've got this stage refueled. We dropped the interplanetary because whatever, we're not going to need that. But on the plus side, with what we had over left over from when we got ourselves 2 Vall with this ship cluster, and what we had left over in that tank, we were able to completely refuel all 3 of these tanks. So we're sitting pretty. I think we should have more than enough to do this. Now, I did want to put us into a polar orbit because of what we're going after, so I'm going to take care of that and do a little hunting, and I'll come back once I am ready to land. Alright guys, so as you can see we are in a polar orbit. Didn't do me much good because I kind of forgot that Vall here is tidally locked. It doesn't rotate, so being in a polar orbit will just rotate us around the exact same spots. It won't rotate underneath us and give us new scenery to check around. So I did some hunting, and I believe I see it over here. So I've got a node set up. We're going to try to make this work, but as you can see I've used a lot of fuel during this whole period trying to get into a polar orbit and all that nonsense. I probably should have just gone for a landing and come over here. On the flip side of that, this is a lander with a rover, so worst comes to worst, if we need to make an emergency landing, if this isn't going to work, if we're going to waste all our fuel and not have enough to actually make the final descent, then, you know, we'll just land early and take the rover out there, like we did with the dead Space Kraken. So if that ends up being the case, I'm going to split this episode into 2. So wish me luck, guys. I hope this ends up working out. It's going to take about 48 seconds where the burn is what it's thinking. And this is broken. My mech jeb is broken calculating the delta V on this. For whatever reason, it doesn't go down. So that is incorrect. We definitely don't have almost 3,000 delta V left. So it's going to take about 50 seconds roughly to make this burn. So we're going to go T-25. Almost missed it. And let's do it. Ooh, that is dropping fast. Okay, alright. Alright. I'm gonna pretend that this is gonna work. I'm gonna pretend. We're gonna go right there and stop. And screw that nonsense. And let's see, what is it gonna take us to make a descent? What does it think? Okay, alright. Let's do this thing. Boy, oh boy. This is gonna be interesting, guys. Yeah. Let's get over to that node and see if we can make this happen. It's saying about 17 seconds we're gonna go. Oh, I'm below 24, that's right. So let's go in for this. So as you guys might notice, you may see a flicker over here as we get closer. It's somewhere in this general area, but we're going to try to make this landing and actually make it count. Okay, so we're coming on in here. This is going to be a little tricky, I think. So I'm going to try... Oh, right. Time warp. Sorry, I had to pause there for a moment. Just a quick moment, but I am back. So if I repeat something, my apologies. So zipping on in. Do we see it yet? I hope this is the right area. I guess we'll find out. Oops. I'm blowing past our point. Okay. So turning this, getting this cranking on down. Oh gosh, we're getting low on fuel. Okay, I'm gonna call that pretty much good on what we're actually gonna be able to use without going overboard and not being able to land. So, wow, actually, no, this is gonna be bad. We're not gonna have enough to actually land because we're picking up speed because we're descending still and we just don't have enough to burn it off. On the plus side, I did do an autosave before we came down for a landing, so I'm gonna reload that. Okay, so we're back, still in orbit, but unfortunately, we just did not have enough fuel to make that landing. So which means I'm gonna have to bring out something else to refuel this thing. Before we can actually go down for a landing. So a second refueling to make this count. I really should have kept my interplanetary stage attached here and just, you know, use those engines to make all these orbital corrections. I probably would have had enough for the landing. But, you know what they say, hindsight's 20/20. Anyways, I'm gonna get this refueled and come back to you guys. Okay, guys. I've got this thing mostly refueled. We were only able to get, well, we filled up these outside tanks. It was like about a tank and a half worth of extra fuel, roughly, that we were able to get out of that drone refueler back there. So we're going to go ahead and try this again. I think, let's see, so we're coming down, And we want to aim... Let me take a look at these craters again. I believe it's this crater here. It's the one we came down in previously. Let me take a look. Where are we orbiting? Yeah, okay, so we're orbiting up. So let's set our node, and then we're going to get on down there. So bring that on in. So there's that. Bring up the ascend again. And crank down that descending, or that retrograde. So that's looking okay. We're going to be coming into land in this crater, this small one right here is the idea. And from there we're going to be looking around. So let's take a look, jump over to our node. Probably don't want to be sitting in that mode. Node. Oh, time warped, right. Derp. Derpy derp derp. Alright, so we need about 413 meters a second delta V. Now, actually, we might have this fixed now. We might be able to take a look and actually see what our remaining delta V is with this menu. Now that it's been refueled a bit, maybe it's actually working. Doesn't really seem like it, at least not yet. Okay, so let's fast forward. We need about 24 seconds worth of burn, it's looking like it thinks. So we're going to start about T-minus 12 would be ideal, but it takes a little bit for the engines to spool up, so we'll do like T-minus, I don't know, 15 is what we'll shoot for, maybe, roughly, I guess. So drop it on down. So I previously mentioned that, I might end up having to do a double episode, which may or may not have already taken place by this point. I may have split it earlier than this, who knows. Do you guys mind these longer episodes? Do you enjoy these? For the folks who actually come and watch these, I'd really like to hear from you. Drop a comment below. I'm missing the point to burn. But yeah, drop a comment below. I mean, if you guys are actually enjoying these longer episodes where I'm having to do some rover travel and or refueling and other things for these more complex and longer missions, let me know. I'd love to hear from you and figure out what you guys actually end up liking to see. I don't mind doing these longer episodes. I just try to keep them as short as possible so that, you know, it's not too much time to actually go through and watch them. You see like a 30-minute video and go, puh, jeez, I can't believe it. Why would he do such long videos? Well, let me know, and I'll do my best to curb that if that's something you guys don't like seeing. I know I've had one person mention that I should do shorter videos. And I've also had a couple of people mention I should keep these longer videos, but it's been fairly sporadic and it's been fairly intermittent for this feedback, so give me a heads up. I'd really like to hear from you guys. But we're coming in here, we've just done our correction burn for our trajectory. We're going to start doing our burn for descent here pretty quick. So 18 seconds is what it's asking for, so T-minus 9. I'm going to go T-minus 11-ish. Is the idea here. So we burn a little early is what I like to plan to do. Speed that on up. There we are, 11. And down below, there's the crater. Right here is what we're shooting for. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure that I saw it in this crater. I could be wrong. Oopsie daisy. Burnt a little past. That's okay. Not a big deal. Let's settle back on retrograde. Now, the reason I rebuilt this and it's got this is because I did want to have a full crew on here of at least 4 people. And not just... the previous rover, Science Rover 1, came with just this cupola module on top, so only one pilot. And then we had the rest of the crew in the forward operating base, or forward ops base, that we had landed previously on... what was that? That was BOP. So that's what we had previously. But I rebuilt this one with the hitchhiker module in here so that we could have a bigger crew coming down with the rover and just have a single lander on the surface. Was the idea. So let's kill our lateral movement and actually just go for a descent. Should be right about there, I think. How are we looking? Are we pretty well centered? Almost. So let's burn that just a hair more and cut our engines right there. That's pretty much on the dot. Just using a little bit of thrust here, and we have definitely more than enough fuel to actually make this count. We can definitely land this no problem whatsoever. Crank up those engines a bit. I don't know why it's starting to go so slow. It felt like it was slowing down at least. Or, well, I guess I should say the thrust felt like it was slowing down. Okay, so let's start dropping. What's our altitude? About 14 kilometers up. So I'm gonna turn off time warp so I can kind of take a quick look around. I'm gonna get rid of the UI. And let's see. Do we see anything? I was hoping we would. At least some flickers or something. I was hoping we might see them. Actually. Did I see something over here on this plateau? Maybe? I hope I'm in at least the right area, like general area. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I'll use the long-range scanners. I just realized I'm doing a finger quote that you guys can't see. The long-range scanners that we used for finding the Kraken, which after I landed... Oh, check it out, right there. There it is. I see it. So, I'm gonna slow us down there. Face towards it. And actually tilt a bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Let's crank up to full throttle. Wow, this actually is pretty heavy gravity. This is interesting. I don't... Okay. There we go. That's a bit better. Oops. I'm going to flip us around, like rotate us so that the doors are facing us. It's easier for me to visualize this and control things when I'm actually just going on visual cues for everything. Turn on my lights just so that I have that ready. Yeah, check that out. So this is what we came to find, guys. The Stonehenge on the surface of Vall. It's not actually like well, actually, it might be based on... I know it's... People call it the Stonehenge. I don't know if that's accurate or, you know, whatever in comparison to what it actually is designed as. Oh my gosh. Okay, turn on those engines completely. That's a bit better. How does Vall compare in gravity to, like, the moon? Or the Mun? This seems pretty heavy. Or like it's pulling me down quick. I'm gonna crank up those engines. Whoa, we're below 100 meters. Okay. So I'm gonna face back toward Stonehenge back here. And just start burning over a little bit. Kill our engines. Actually, I'm gonna keep them on just a hair. So we can continue to hover. I'm gonna try to land in here. So yeah, I guess it's not exact. There's no like balanced stones on top between them, but it's a circular set of stone slabs standing up. So I guess it's similar in overall design to the rover. Or blah, 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 blah. Wow, I looked up at the screen and saw the rover and just said rover. In design to Stonehenge in real life is what I meant. So coming on down, wow, that does actually drop my drop pretty quick. The gravity here must be at least similar, a little heavier than the Mun. So crank up our engines just a hair, continue dropping, but slowly. And we're gonna land just a hair away from it so that we can actually use the rover to get to it. Actually, I'm just gonna go a little bit closer. Just so that it's not quite as much of a, you know, if you were actually coming close to this thing, landing on it, I'm sure you'd probably try to land as close as possible if you were doing some research on it. So that's what we're going to do. Try to land as close as possible and then use the rover for maneuvering around inside of it. Or whatever. Whatever. We're close enough. I'm going to call that good. Okay, I'm bringing it on down. Oh, nope, nope, slow it down, slow it down. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Is it, oh god, I hope it's O to deploy that. Nope. Oh, okay, it deployed some of them and our antennas, but it didn't deploy this side. Apparently it was O, but not the whole thing, I guess. Deploy those. And deploy our ladder system. Zzz. And you know what, Captain Pax? You get first dibs on exploration. Grab and jump. Slow yourself down. Alright. Let's kick out the, actually, let's turn off those. Ooh, I almost used the landing legs. That would have been just super for me to have done. Let's detach the rover. Decouple. And thankfully, it's a little heavier now. It shouldn't have as much issue roving around. Oh, wait. Let's go docking mode. Can we... Oh, I think we're on the... Are we on the rover? There's the rover. Turn off those brakes. Let's back this thing up and magically clip through the ladder. Oh, it's so magical. And Pax, we don't want to run you over, but let's put you right there. Switch back, and we're going to put Pax into the rover, and you can take a look at what's changed about it. We've actually got a little like frame around, so instead of the landing legs. So that should be a little easier, I think. We still have heads sticking out, which isn't as big of a deal, but you know what? Whatever. And we've got a little front bumper. We repositioned everything. We've got a bigger tank on here for mono, so we've got a little bit of mono propellant we can use. A bit more than the original had, thankfully. Actually, well, 4 times as much as the original had. So there it is. And thankfully, this thing's actually got a little more... because of the difference in gravity from here and to Bop, I think this thing actually has a bit more control to it, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to kick out the those guys, kick out the antennas, just so that we can be communicating with the shuttle, and then of course back to Kerbal, because you know, science. And okay. So we've got both our lights this time. We've actually got a front bumper as well, so I was hoping that might protect our lights a bit. And we can take a quick gander here at the so-called Stonehenge. How does this thing brake okay? Does it tilt forward? Oh, it does, but not as bad. That's good. I was just testing there. Kind of curious. But cool, guys. Thanks for joining us on this episode, and next time we're going to be heading out... I think we've only got one more place to visit. We have to visit Paul, P-O-L, the last moon around Jewel, the tiny little one out the very outside. And I don't know exactly what we'll be doing. Whoa, sliding a little bit. I don't know exactly what we'll be doing, but we're definitely going to go out there because it is the last planet we have to visit. We've knocked out everywhere else. I'm pretty sure. I can't actually check what I have things on because I've lost a lot of things from the original flights, but I'm pretty sure we've hit Moho, Eve, all of Eve's moon, well, Eve's moon, I think, Gilly. Obviously Kerbal, we've hit Duna, we've hit Duna's moons, we've hit Drez. I don't think Drez has any moons, but if we did, if it does, we probably hit them. Jewel and out to Elu. So I think that's actually going to knock it out for the visiting the entire galaxy in our season 2 here so far. Above and beyond that, I've actually got some planes I've been working on. I've been actually really enjoying building planes and actually getting more familiar with how that system works in this game. And because we still have a lot of things to do on Kerbal that we haven't done on my channel yet, such as visiting some of the Easter eggs around there. So we're going to be using different planes and things like that to explore around Kerbal and actually explore our own Kerbal backyard. And I'm not going to do a whole season on that. I think we're pretty much just going to continue it as Season 2 and just keep adding episodes as I get time to play them. I also am going to be finishing up BioShock Infinite and doing some more XCOM. Because XCOM is getting close to the campaign. Well, we're pretty far into the campaign on the one I've got uploaded thus far, but we're going to continue doing that and finish up that campaign hopefully before the new expansion comes out, Enemy Within, which actually just got a new trailer today, showing off some cool new stuff like possible base defense missions, which I'm pretty stoked about, but that's just me. Anyway, I'm rambling and I should be ending this. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll come back at you next time, and until then, cheers.